Welcome to the Unit 3 review. So this unit is on quadratic functions. The first question says, each statement describes a transformation of the graph y equals x squared. Which statement correctly describes the graph of y equals x minus 5 quantity squared plus 3? So this all relates back to transformations. So what you need to keep in mind here is that we have f of x equals plus or minus a times x minus plus or minus h quantity squared plus or minus k. You need to know what each of those things mean. So just briefly, we know that this piece right here is a reflection. So when it's negative, it's a reflection over the x-axis. Okay. We know that our A is a vertical shift or compression. So we have a vertical stretch or a compression. We know vertical stretch is going to be something that's greater than 1, and then we know for a compression that it's going to be between 0 and 1. So between 0 and 1. Okay? And we have our H, which is going to be left or right. So we know that left is positive, right, because of insider's lie, is negative. Then we have our K, which is going to be up or down, up, negative would be down. So this is a change in Y, and then this is a change in X. Okay? So my suggestion is to look and describe the transformation first before you even try to read any of the answer choices. So it says X minus 5. So we have this minus 5 on the inside, which is left or right. Because it's negative 5, we know that it goes right 5. So right 5. And then out on the outside, our K, we know is plus 3. So plus 3 is up, so we know it's up 3. And now we can just look to find our answer choice. So we want right 5, so there's right 5. And here's right 5, and we need up 3, so 3 units up. So C is the correct answer. Okay, moving on to the next one. Same concept here. So let's describe what's happening. So here the plus 4 means that we're going to the left 4. And then the negative 1 means we're going down 1. So find the answer choice that says to the left 4 and down 1. So B is the correct answer here. Okay, moving on. Circle the graph that best represents the following equation. Now, you could do this if you know your transformations pretty well, but you could also plug this into the calculator. Okay, so we know that from here, if we're doing transformations, that it's going to the right 3 and up 1. So right 3, so that's not a choice. That's not a choice. Right 3, up 1. And then you have to decide, is it reflection over the x-axis or not? Which there's no negative sign in front of here, so this one has to be the correct answer. But just to double check, make sure that you put it into the calculator. So we're going to go to y equals, clear out anything in y equals, and then we're going to put our function x minus 3 squared plus 1. Zoom 6 gives you the normal standard viewing window, and that is the correct answer. Okay, next question. The quadratic function shown apparently has zeros between. Okay, so first of all, what that word 0 means is the x-intercepts. So my suggestion would be to circle the x-intercepts. So I have an x-intercept here, and I have an x-intercept here. Okay, well this first one is between what two numbers? is between 0 and 1. So I have an x-intercept between 0 and 1. And then for this one, okay, I have another one between 3 and 4. So between 3 and 4. Okay, and then the last question on this page, which is the same, the zeros. So I have a 0 right here and right here. Okay, so this 0 is between, because it wants to know what it's between. It's between 0 and -1. And then the next one is between -3 and -4. Okay, so be careful, read the question and what exactly it's asking you. Let's look at the next one. Okay, so given the indicated graph, give the indicated graphical characteristics for the following function. So function family, it is a U shape, so it's a quadratic. The parent function we know is f of x equals x squared. The domain, okay, so from left to right, we know that this graph is going to keep going. Okay, so it's -infinity to +infinity. Range is up to down. So coming down here, we see that the first y value is going to be -1, and it includes -1, so we're going to use a bracket up to infinity. Okay, the zeros. So the zeros are x equals -2, x equals -4. The x-intercepts, okay, are similar to the zeros, except we list them in ordered pairs because it's a coordinate. The x-intercept is -2, 0, -4, 0. The y-intercept, so our y-intercept is way up here. Okay, and we list that as a coordinate as well, and that one's going to be 0, 8. Be careful, make sure you have these in the right order. Increasing interval, okay, so increasing interval. So you're looking at the graph to figure out where it's increasing. It's increasing from this point here, okay, and notice that this graph is going to continue to increase. So if we increase, we're going to go across the x values, and it's increasing, increasing, increasing. So the y values tell you whether it's increasing or decreasing, and then you list the interval with the x values. So it's increasing from -3 to infinity. We use parentheses there. Then wants to know where it's decreasing. So notice here, it's decreasing starting way up here and decreasing all the way to this point right here. But remember, we list the interval in the x value, so it's decreasing from -infinity to -3. Okay, a maximum or a minimum. So we know that we have a minimum here because it dips down, and this is the very lowest point of the graph. That's also called the vertex. That vertex is at -3, -1. There are no asymptotes. And then as x approaches infinity, so x approaches infinity, f of x, or y, is going up. So it is approaching infinity. And as f of x, or I'm sorry, as x approaches -infinity, f of x is approaching infinity. Okay? So let's look at one more with the graphical characteristics. Same thing. We see that it's a U shape. It's quadratic. Parent function. Equation. Domain, again, -infinity to +infinity. Range. This one, notice that the graph is pointing down, so I'm at -infinity, and I stop here at this value, which is +4. The zeros, so I have a 0 right here, and a 0 right here. So x equals 0, x equals 4. Okay, x-intercepts are just listed as ordered pairs. So we have 0, 0, and then 4, 0. The y-intercept, so the y-intercept goes through the y-axis right here, so is at 0, 0. Increasing interval, so this one I'm increasing. Imagine you're on a roller coaster. I'm increasing, and the last value I increase at is right here. Notice that it's increasing because we're reading from left to right, from negative infinity, and then it stops here. This is the last value that it increases at. So negative infinity to 2. And then it's decreasing. So it's starting to decrease here. And it decreases. But remember, when we write the interval, we're looking at the x value. So it's decreasing from here, which is 2. And then on the x-axis, it continues to decrease to positive infinity. Okay? Because the graph is turned down, we have a maximum point, which is also the vertex, and that maximum point is going to be at 2, 4. There are no asymptotes. And then as x approaches infinity, f of x, or y, is approaching negative infinity. And as x is approaching negative infinity, f of x is approaching negative infinity. Alright, we have one more question. Okay, the next question asks, where does the graph of the function f of x equals 3x plus 2 times x minus 5 cross the x-axis? So it's asking for the solutions. And in order to find those solutions, so you're going to set each of the factors equal to 0, and then solve, and that'll be the x value, which is the x-coordinate of the place where the function crosses the x-axis. So we're going to do 3x plus 2 equals 0, and then we're going to do x minus 5 equals 0 and solve both of those. So for this one, minus 2, 3x equals minus 2 divided by 3, x equals negative 2 over 3. Remember, that's the x value, so that's negative 2 over 3, 0, because they want to know where it crosses the x-axis, which would be a coordinate, and then plus 5, x equals 5, so then the coordinate would be 5, 0. So those are our two coordinates, so we're going to look for that, and that will be answer D. Okay, and then for the next one, same thing. Where does it cross the graph? I'm sorry, where does it cross the x-axis? So our x equals 0, and then we have x minus 1 equals 0. This one we can't solve, so we know the coordinate here would be 0, 0. And then over here we have plus 1, so x equals 1, which the coordinate would be 1, 0. So we're looking for 1, 0, and 0, 0. So D would be the correct, B would be the correct answer. That is it for this video.